Hold up, I am on my way, I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing. Yeah, isn't that amazing? In Christmas times, we'll be chilling and having a good time. Doesn't matter if the snow is falling or the wind blows and the rain is pouring. It will always be Christmas in my heart. But this year I wanna hang out with my friends and family, making angels in the sand.
Oh, and I love that song. I don't even know who sings it, but I love that song. I do. And welcome to day one of my 12 days of Christmas. Chris giveaways. I knew I was going to say that. My 12 days of giveaways. And this is day one. So thank you for tuning in. If you are watching live or if you're a part of the replay crew, definitely drop a comment in the comment section. Tell us where you're watching from and what you hope to get out of these 12 days of sharing. Last year, I attempted to do the 12 days of giveaway, but I had a lot of issues with the platform that I use, Ecamm Live, so much so I had to delete it and re-upload it. It was bananas, but nonetheless, I am here. So, if you are watching this and you're saying, well, I didn't know she was having the 12 days of giveaway, there is still time to join. There's still time to join. All you have to do is go to the opt in page or the registration page. Let me close this out and click that button. So join the fun, and it will take you to where you can join. If you want the freebies, you have to be on my email list to get them. And what I am doing this week is sharing strategies that a lot of times I don't share with the public. I share them inside of my Math Intervention Academy, and I share a little bit on my live streams. But tonight, I these 12 days are important because I realized when I started the Math Intervention Academy, it was a different time period in public education. And we have, since the pandemic, that's when it started, we are in a different time period. So I am here for all things public education. And I am sharing these strategies for those who want them so that they can close learning gaps and improve their student outcomes because we are in a hostile territory and the hostility towards public educators is just ridiculous. It really is. But I'm gonna get off my soapbox and I'm going to go ahead and get started. Before I get started, let me go over here and share the stream with my Facebook group. Let me see. Oh, I gotta share this because Facebook does not allow us to. They don't allow us to live stream into Facebook groups anymore. So I have to share it while I'm live. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Today's topic is about understanding place value. Now, everything that I am sharing this week is going to be framed in terms of your core instruction, which is your tier one instruction. That's the basic instruction that all students get, and your intervention. So there's twofold. And if you're on the email list, I share videos that I've done in the past. Also, I share some of, I also give you the templates that I'm going to use in my live streams. I'm also going to share some of my workshops for free for those of you all who are participating that I normally charge about $60 for lifetime access to the workshops. But I want to give you some practical tips that you can take from this live stream and implement in your classroom as early as the next day. Just really no brainer. So, when we're talking about place value is the basic understanding of your base 10 system. And what we notice, and if you've been teaching math any length of time, you know that the children struggle with base 10 and place value. And even before that, they struggle with number sense and understanding what's reasonable. And you might have said, well, what is number sense? Is it reasonable? Does it make sense? And on a number line, are you subtracting and is the number getting big? Because I've had students where we were subtracting and their number was growing. And I was like, you're subtracting. What does subtraction mean? So a lot of the students struggle with that number sense, but today we're talking about place value. And I want to share two templates with you all. Not this one. This one I'm going to be giving tomorrow, but this is a template that I created. Yeah, I'll scoot this over. Because I want you all to see the whole thing. So this is a template that I created. And what I did, and I know some people say, well, that's not what it's used for, but it helps. 10 frames you can use 10 frames to scaffold your math intervention instruction. So if you are using any type or teaching third grade, we'll say third grade, you don't generally teach place value through 10 frames. So I tried this out and it works with students who are struggling. So in elementary, first, second, they are working with 10 frames. So for example, 10 frames are not just for like color tiles. You can put connecting cubes in here. And let's start with the ones. You can put connecting cubes. In here to help the students make the jump, because a lot of times we as educators do not anchor the students' learning. And when I say anchor it, I'm talking about using something familiar. I call it connecting the new to the known. And if you don't do that, a lot of times your kids that struggle, they actually think that this is something totally new. And math is coherent. It is supposed to build on what the students should know. I am not going to say that they know, should know from the previous grade level. So if you start with, okay, let's turn a 10 frame into the ones, because the concept is still the same. And you can even put base 10 blocks. I am not a big fan of base 10 blocks, but nonetheless, we have to use them. But as you scaffold, this can turn into building it from just a representation to actually using number discs. I love number discs because a lot of the students get confused with base 10 blocks. I think it is partly responsible for a lot of misconceptions. So this is a scaffolding technique that you can use when you are transitioning your second graders from 10 frames to understanding place value. It gives them that supported jump that you need from the 10 frames. And then you're introducing them to the ones period, but it's still in a format they can recognize. And this is important, especially if you're trying to close gaps in your math intervention. So it goes from here to here. So you're introducing them to the ones period. And as you can see, we have an arrow. And once those students are introduced to the tens, ones, tens, and hundreds, you can turn it and then still have something that they still recognize. Because what happens is this is abstract. It's very abstract. But if you slowly clear up and help them make the jump from the known to the new, they'll be able to understand it a lot better, a whole lot better. Now, some misconceptions, and let me go back over here. Some misconceptions that I find with students that struggle are understanding 10. When you have 10, and they have to understand, like, not even making a 10, they have to understand that there are different combinations of 10. There's 0 and 10, there's 1 and 9, 2 and 8, 7 and 3, 6 and 4, 5 and 5, and that's it. Though they have to know those combinations. So when you are moving the children, trying to close their gaps, and you're using this, you can just ask the kids, how many ways can we make a 10? How many ways can we make a 10? So if I have 2, how many more do I need? And this, by you putting it in the ones place, the students will understand that, oh, if I fill the 10 up, right here, if I fill it up, and if I have 11 ones, then there's not a space for that extra 1. There's not a space for it. So what do you do? What do you do? So it sets them up for regrouping. This 10 frame can help you so much. So that's one way to scaffold it when you want regrouping. Also, another way is when you are using, you can change these out if you are working with base 10, and I'm not saying don't use the base 10 blocks. What I'm saying is it's not my favorite because my students who struggle they tend to struggle. So if I have 10, and I fill it up, but you can't have 10 in the ones place. You can't have double digit numbers. So what it does is set the kids up for, or I'm going to trade here. So when you get a group of 10, you have to move it. And I should have said that in the first one, but when you have a group of 10, you have to regroup. And then it continues, because if you end up with 10 tens, and it helps the kids frame what they're doing. You end up with 10 tens in a tens place. What happens, and you can start the kids here, what happens when we have 10 tens? We have 10 tens, and then because we have 10 tens, it now is equivalent, or we have to regroup and move to 100. And that's how you scaffold that. And then once the students, if you're doing this in intervention, once the students are sound, then you move them to the place value chart. But if the students don't understand that 10 frame, it becomes a problem for them over and over and over again. It does. Notice I have the arrows. That is support for the students to make sure that they know that they are moving from, when they're adding, from right to left. Because as they move to the left, that's that number sense. That place value gets larger. That's how you know you're adding. And then when you're subtracting, I have the arrows going to the right. Because when you're subtracting, it should be getting smaller. So that helps support students in understanding that, okay, if I'm going to the right, I'm going to get smaller. And it helps with the connect with that number line understanding, okay, to the right, it gets smaller, to the left is going to get larger, which will help them with decimals and all the place value concepts. So hopefully this is helpful. If you're watching this live or you're watching it on a replay, please, and you want to get the templates that I just used, you have to be a part of on the email list. I send out the freebies every day. So whatever I use in the live stream is the freebie for that day. I'm teaching you all how to use these things for your classroom. So again, if you want to, let me see, be a part of the 12 days of giveaway, it is not too late. All you have to do is go to YouTube. In the description, you'll see the link to the registration page, and then you hop on, and then you get all of the previous emails with the freebies, as well as the day that you join. So hopefully this live stream is helpful for you. If you have any questions, pop them in the comment section, and I'll see you all tomorrow for day 2 of the 12 days of giveaway. Bye-bye.